Hey. So my name is Don, and this is me in my garage, getting ready to do a strength workout. It's all going to be about my core and pulling from the floor. Okay. But first, I'm going to start off with warming up some of these joints, like my knees that I have. The joints that I have. My knees, particularly since I have a little mild osteoarthritis, and both of them, actually one a little more than the other. But with 72 years on this body, and the kind of stuff that I've put it through, hey, it deserves to have a little osteoarthritis. We don't get out of this without some nicks, right? So I just start off with just moving nice and easy. Do a couple of movements, just a few minutes of warming the body up. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter whether you're 18, 24, or 64 or 84, you have to warm your body up. It's one of the smartest things you can do, okay, to ensure that your body, your musculature, everything, your tendons, ligaments are ready to put out and receive, whatever you're going to put them through. Warming the body up. And really, I don't do any stretching unless it's active stretching. I find, static stretching, like, some people you'll see bending over, touching their toes. Static stretching to me is not as effective until after you are finished with your training. And then your body is really warm, and it really benefits you to do static stretching. If I do some stretching, it's going to be kind of mobility type stuff where I'm kind of moving my body and stretching it. So anyway, but interesting, actually beyond interesting, really intriguing to me was some information that I came across a couple of days ago. Apparently science, there's a theory out that's being heavily supported that the strength of your legs has a significant correlation to positively helping the body push back dementia. In other words, so your leg strength has something to do with your brain, right? Your nervous system. So I found that pretty fascinating. And I know this from what I've learned in the sciences that after the age of 30, we can lose anywhere from 3 to 8% of our muscle mass every decade after 30 if we don't do anything about it. And I know some of you are going to say, well, I run, I walk, I play golf, I play tennis, whatever. I play basketball all the time. That's fantastic. I'm glad you do, but it's not enough. It doesn't replace the specific positive impact of strength training your body to keep its muscle mass or build its muscle mass even. Because in fact, you can still lose muscle mass doing all those more aerobic activities. And it doesn't take a lot to, build muscle mass. And I mean, it takes time, but in terms of actual output of effort, it just takes consistency over time. Starting with 10 or 15 minutes a day, just moving your body, specifically to build strength and mobility and develop some density of muscle or increase muscle mass. Or maybe you have, you don't want any more muscle mass, but you want to improve what you've got. And that can be done. It doesn't matter what age you are either. Got bit by a mosquito. I mean, I don't care if you've never done anything. I don't care if you're just starting and you're 80 years old or you're 18. Although I'm hopefully getting the attention of folks who are 45 and over. I don't want to exclude anybody else. But anyway, yeah. So the importance of your total muscle system, it actually acts as an organism that works symbiotically with other important internal organs in your body. Your musculature, your muscle system releases important hormones to other organs in your body. We don't know this, right? And so that's why it's so important for you to have a plan of action and invest. I know a lot of people think that the most important thing is making sure you have enough money coming in, and if you have children, they're doing okay and all that kind of stuff. But having a roof over your head, those things are important. I'm not saying they aren't, but this vessel, this is how all that happens, right? So if you ignore the vessel, if you take this vessel, the only one you're going to ever have, for granted, if you don't take care of it and invest a fraction of the amount of time in it that you do everything else, then what have you got, right? That's my point. So anyway, so just a few minutes of warming my body up, and I'm going to do some sandbag lifts. It's a 150-pound sandbag. And when I was a CrossFit athlete years ago, as I said, I'm 72. I was a CrossFit athlete starting at about 59 to about the age of 63. Hoisting a sandbag was, I did it a lot. And so I still use it. Occasionally, not as much, not as consistently. But I think I'm going to do 5 sets of lifting that. It might be anywhere from 5 to 10 reps. And then I'm going to do maybe 5 sets of light deadlifts afterwards. And I'm going to combine those 2 movements with some other movements that I'll do throughout the whole thing, throughout those 2 movements. And one of them is knee raises on my little apparatus I have here. And the other is I like to train the strength in my neck, and I like to work on the strength in my neck. So I have a little thing I do. Some of you guys, it's kind of a throwback. You'll see wrestlers or football players doing it, and I like to use it, right? So I'll do that. If you are 45, 55, right, and you can't do this, then that is an important place to start. I'm telling you, because you don't want to be, 60 years old and you can't bend down and cut your toenails. I'm telling you, it sucks. I know people who are 60, 65, and they're having a hell of a time. In fact, some have to go to the doctors to have their nails cut, right? You don't want to be 70 and afraid to fall, right? Or afraid you're on the floor and can't get back up. So this kind of stuff, being able to do this, squat like this, and I guess you can't really see me. I'm going to move back. Being able to do this is really critical. It really is. Okay. So a few minutes of that. And then what I'm going to do is, I got to get my timer. This is a 55-pound kettlebell. Now, some days, I'm I change it up. Like some days I'll support more of that weight than others. Sometimes I want to have reps, light reps, really work the deep muscle cells in my traps and neck. That does one thing. That gives endurance strength to me. And other days won't support it at all, and it'll just be straight static strength move. You know, my neck and heads and traps supporting the entire weight, and obviously I do fewer reps, but that does something different. That builds greater strength. Or sometimes I'll do a combination of both. I'm not saying you have to do this. What I am saying to you, the point of my doing this at all is, I want to convey to you the importance of strength training your body if you are 45 and over. Certainly if you're younger, the younger you start, the better. The longer you wait, the harder it will be to establish a habit, even 10 minutes a day of doing this, okay? And one thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass, all right? I'm not gonna say even establishing a 10-minute a day habit will be challenging, right? You're gonna wanna quit. But if you don't, the benefits will be transformative. Well, I haven't done this sandbag in a while. Put some chalk on my hands. It's one thing to pick 150 pounds up off the floor on a barbell. The weight is distributed, right? But when you have weight concentrated in a smaller area, the more challenging it is. Eventually, even though I'm 72, I still look at my life expanding. I still look at the possibilities. I still look at growth, right? So because I do, I am going to, in the near future, buy a 200-pound sandbag. Yeah, I am. Because I want to be able to do that, right? So I just want to see, right, where I can go. So this is 150 pounds.
Okay, I can show you. You'll be able to see it. Here we go. This one front.
I have my little timer here. Well, that was heavy, as it should be, because I haven't done it in months. Got myself a little timer. Because I've learned that you need a certain amount of rest, particularly as you age. You know, you recover faster when you're younger. And every decade, you can see the challenge you have in recoverability. And certainly after 60, you'll notice it takes you a little longer to recover. And definitely after 70, okay? Now, even at 72, I can do some things, I might be able to do some things that you can't do. Doesn't mean that you don't have the capability. It's not possible. You just haven't done it, right? So, but it's funny because when I have a gym membership, and I'm not saying you need one. You don't. But I have a gym membership, and I use it a couple of days a week because they have a couple of systems there that I don't have here in my garage that I use for certain movements. And it's amazing to me, in this day and age particularly, that people don't have more knowledge or understanding about the process of their training. So I see people moving heavy weights, doing things, they really need to be giving themselves more time to recover between sets. They don't. Although they might be on their phone. I don't know what they're doing. But I don't know if they've identified, you know, the exact amount of time, the most efficient amount of time they need to rest to get the maximum from their body, right? That's, you know, somebody told me I used to train years ago. I used to power lift in my 30s. And one of my powerlifting partners was a guy 50 who was a world champion masters lifter, in powerlifting. And he said, the biggest thing you can do along the way is actually more important than building your body, is building this understanding and knowledge about your process. All right, here we go. So I gave myself a little over 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Most of the time I try and stay close to 2 minutes. Hey, Rosie. My wife is out here. She's gonna garden. Now, here we go. So what I'm gonna do is, unlike my last video where I showed you everything, I'm gonna come back in when I'm on actually the deadlifts, okay? And I have more to say. All right, see you in a few. Okay, so I finished off the sets with the sandbag. So I'm moving now to deadlifts. So I'm back on. And in the interim, while you had you off, what hit me was the word transformation. And I don't know how many people actually recognize that in the pursuit of whatever it is you desire in your life, whether it's to be functionally fitter, stronger, healthier, more mobile, whatever, athletics, financial, you want to create multiple income streams, greater income streams, financial wealth, wealth in terms of relationships, in terms of time freedom, memories, creating great memories, all of those things, and anything else you can think of. When you have a desire to bring that into your life externally, it actually has to start here in your mind and in your heart, in your gut, long before you actually see it. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's a fact. In other words, it's a transformation. You as a person, in fact, the greatest thing that will happen in whatever your endeavor is, even if you're already a world-class, or trying to be a world-class athlete, let's say that, the greatest thing that will happen will be your own personal transformation. What does that transformation look like? It looks like a person who will become a person that deals with setbacks tremendously well, deals with getting knocked down, right? Deals with taking ownership of your actions better, and other things I can't even think of. But it's the biggest accomplishment. It will be who you become in the pursuit of your desires and your aspirations, and that I can tell you, my friends, I'm 72, and I would say, I can remember being a 15-year-old, getting into high school, okay, as a sophomore, wanting to be a water polo player and starting to swim. I had to be on the swim team. Now look at me, right? I'm a brown-skinned mixed black man in America, right? Now, I had relatives who had pools, right? And I thought I could swim. I didn't know nothing about swimming. The only thing, and every day I wanted to quit. But the only thing that kept me going was I would go home and I would envision in my mind, I would see myself accomplishing something, or swimming with the faster swimmers, or beating them. Or when I started playing water polo, I was a goalie, right? Protected the goal. I would see myself coming out of the water, with all my swim trunks showing, like I had seen others doing, right? I wanted to be that guy. I saw myself doing that. You understand what I'm saying to you? I saw myself before it ever happened. It's what allowed me to not quit day after day, right? It's what allowed me to push through the hard training and doing extra work. Transformation. That word I talk about in my community. By the way, I have a community called the Total Wealth Community. Oh, hell. I've been 4 minutes. I'll finish that thought. What you'll see here is I've got, I don't know if you can see it. I'll put a minute to put it down. I have got 135 pounds, and actually, I decided to do it off a box, right? But it's going to be light. I won't go any heavier than 315. I have a total of 420 pounds in my garage. And, so because I did the sandbags earlier, the sandbag, sandbag throws, my deadlifts will be lighter. This puts me about 4 inches off the ground. So what I was saying was, I built a community called the Total Wealth Community. And the reason why I built it is because I want to have a place on the internet where people 45 and over who are looking to create that transformation, who are looking to continue to expand their life, whether it's functional fitness and strength or any other area, financial. But anyway, I'm working to attract memberships to it. We have a few members right now. So I'll put the address of my community on this video so that you can get it and check us out. It actually will cost you less than $1 a day per month to be a member. Right now, I did a discount for the month of March from $29 a month to $19. After March, it goes back up to $29 a month. That's still, $1 a day, okay? Maybe less if you average it out to what most months are, 30 days in a month. And it's an investment in yourself to really get the kind of support, mentorship, feedback that you're going to want to help you transform into whatever destination, to be the person that can achieve what it is you want, I guess what I'm trying to say. So I got 225 on the bar now. If you hear raking and sweeping in the background, that's my wife taking care of our incredible garden. We have a beautiful garden around our house, which I really appreciate. And I'm glad that she loves to do the gardening. Even though we have a gardener, she does those things over and above. And then we have this tree in the front of our house that's funny. It actually sheds in the spring and summer, right? Can you get that? It doesn't shed in the winter, fall and winter. It sheds in the spring and summer. So there's always leaves around the front of our house, the driveway, and kind of things like that. But anyway, just wanted to let you know what was going on if you hear noise. Fortunately, my neighbor's dog's not barking. But transformation, man, it does start in your head, man. It starts in your head and in your gut. And if you're somebody who knows intellectually, you may know intellectually that you need to devote to this some time and effort to this vessel called your body, right? This carbon sack, as I heard a woman describe it earlier today. You want to invest some time to this carbon sack that is your body. You might know it intellectually. Like you'll be thinking, we rationalize and intellectualize over everything. We can see intellectually, oh yeah, I should be doing that. But that ain't why we move. That ain't why we move out of our comfort. If you're somebody in that place, then I'm talking to you. I am talking to you. Become a member of the Total Wealth community, right? Get started to create an action plan. I'll help you create an action plan. Now, I can't say that I've helped millions or even thousands of others, but over 57 years, I've helped some. That's right, right? With their desires in terms of functional fitness, strength, and mobility. So I just finished my last set. I didn't want to bore you with showing you all the sets. That kind of, repetitiveness gets boring. But going back to transformation, I cannot say it powerfully enough that you're seeing yourself, okay? Your ability, your willingness, and your ability to see yourself as someone who has abundance in terms of functional strength and mobility. Seeing yourself in great detail. How does a person behave? How do they act? How do they walk into a room? Someone who has, really good functional strength and mobility. Okay, how would you walk into a room? How would you, begin to walk and act? See yourself doing certain things that you've been wanting to do better with more confidence. Okay, and I can promise you that physical transformation is going to be an emotional and mental transformation, and it's going to actually move over and impact other aspects of your life as well. I can promise you it will. I can give you an example myself, personal experience. When I was 58, I started watching these people do these movements, right? And they were competing using these movements, workout movements, training movements, right? CrossFit. So I went to a local CrossFit gym, became a member, and I got my ass handed to me, right? But I saw myself, even through the failures and the frustrations, I saw myself doing that 300-pound, power clean. I saw myself doing certain things, that muscle up. I saw it, and it wouldn't happen. I would get close, and I would fall back, and I wouldn't be able to get as close. But I'm saying it's what drove me. It's what caused me to keep going. All right, and it was transformative, and I accomplished some incredible things, right, along the way. And I achieved a number of the goals and the dreams that I had around that. And you can too. That's all I'm saying. But it's a willingness to understand that you have to be able to see it here already. And as crazy as it is to think about. That's all I got for you today. See you next time.